Okay, we're live. Hopefully get some people here.
I already have a question from 221.
Yeah, I have one question.
No.
Welcome, everybody.
Yeah.
Happy Friday. If you're driving or not driving, it's just glad to see everybody here. If you can let us know, give us feedback to see if you can hear us. That would be always good. 6 people here. Welcome, everybody. I think while we're, warming up, everybody, I think Ryan has a question already. I'm gonna post it on the screen.
Yeah, somebody like pre-posted or something.
Yeah, it's always good if you know our link and just leave your question there. So catch our attention first. Always get the first answer.
Yeah. So somebody asked if I've ever worked on the newer Mac anthems or pinnacles. Quite honestly, I think we've only had one Mac ever in the shop, and that was that old Model R. I don't think we've had any Macs.
No, but you had a lot of experience working.
I mean, I worked for a ready mix, company up in Cleveland, and we had a lot of Mac granites, dump trucks, and stuff like that, and a couple of tractors. But not bad trucks. And the stuff we were buying for that older Mac, I mean, the parts were relatively cheap.
It's hard to find.
But it was really old. So, but yeah, to answer that question, yeah, I have not worked on any of the newer Macs. We get a handful of Volvos in, but not many. Our biggest customers are Freightliner Cascadias and a lot of older Peterbilt T379 Peterbilts. Get a lot of those 579s, T680s, T660s, W9s, and every once in a while we get a Volvo or two in. So
yeah.
Yeah. I didn't close the door.
Yeah, you can close the door. Hey everybody, let me start to say hi to everybody. How's everybody going? How's the week going? Good? All right. I've seen another question I'm going to put on the screen. It's good for Ryan to answer.
Sorry about the interruption there. I forgot to close all the doors so nobody walks in the middle of this.
Yeah. Do you miss being out on the road?
Absolutely. Well,
absolutely no.
Absolutely not. I love the trucking business. I like traveling, but as I said before, the way people are out here on the highways these days, the way people act, and I just have no tolerance or patience for it at all. We're down in Canton. I live up in Greene, Ohio, which is up by the Akron airport. So it's literally like an 18-minute drive. And sometimes I despise getting on I-77 so much that sometimes I will drive 30 minutes just to drive on the back roads to avoid getting on the highway and avoid the nonsense. So, after so many miles and running so much, and I mean, I ran pretty hard when I did run something. I mean, I've done in an 8-day cycle, I've done like 4,900 miles at one time. So, ran a lot, and I don't know if it was just burnt myself out, but I mean, the way, I don't know, it's a different society out there, it seems like, than it was 20 years ago as far as the way people act and treat each other on the highways. So, and I'm just not, I can't deal with it anymore. So,
yeah.
So what else do we have on there?
Second. These are laptop.
Handheld scanner versus OTRs. I haven't seen theirs. What they're offering as far as a handheld scanner. I don't know. Yeah, I'd have to look up on that. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't really give you an apples to apples on that because I'm not too familiar with a lot of their products. I know they have a lot of offerings. I know I've checked in a few things, but it seems like, if you're kind of more of a do-it-yourself type of person, it seems like the prices are a little bit high. I think I was looking into getting Cummins Insight to them when, if anybody has tried to get Cummins Insight through Cummins, it's not an easy process. You got to fax in or email in a form with all your information. Then you got to wait for somebody to call you back, and then you got to give them a credit card. Then they send you the license. It takes like a month. So I had called them up on time. I mean, and the license to Cummins is only like $770 for Cummins Insect Pro, directly through Cummins. So I was like calling around because I needed it really quick. So I had checked with Diesel Laptops, and I think they were on like, it was like $14.95 or something for the same license. And then I was like, well, do you have the license like already bought? And I can just, I'll pay you the $1,500 if you have it available right now versus me waiting a month. But it was just, he was like, no, it's the same process. And I'm like, okay, why am I going to pay double the price to Cummins and then still wait? So, but then I guess they supposedly have some other tech support and stuff like that outside. Cummins does as well. But that's really one of the few interactions I think I've had with them. So, anyways.
All right.
Volvos. We do we're back to using Jaw Test again from Kajali, which is a Spanish company. So we actually just bought a.
Where's your facing screen?
I'm not a big fan of laptops because they die quick and it's this bulky.
Show off this.
So we actually bought a. Actually bought a little Panasonic Toughbook tablet here that's, kind of hopefully hopefully I don't destroy it. So I got this relatively cheap. Then we went back, hooked our gel test software up to this unit. So I was actually just up playing. I was working on a Peterbilt 579 with some Eaton transmission issues, and actually did a inertia brake actuator test, and it did all that. So we'll have a lot more to follow on this. I've been kind of let down by my Snap-on ProLink Ultra Edge Ultra whatever. I know I've had a few issues with certain trucks for some reason, and so we decided to go back to this to have another all-encompassing tool, I guess, at the same time. Because really, honestly, if you're running a shop or a lot of different brands, you need at least two different tools. Because different, especially aftermarket stuff, have different capabilities. So that's why we went back to this, and there'll be more coming down the pipeline on that. So
yeah, do you want to jump into today's topic before we start answering questions and talking to people?
Yeah, sure. Let's hold
Ryan loves you guys' questions. So just can't let it go.
All right. So we'll, if we got time here at the end, we'll circle back around on those. So.
Yeah. This episode, I just want to answer one question from people. I think we got a lot of questions. Then ask Ryan. Somebody might want to become a mechanic down the road. Where to start? And we've had a few videos to cover this topic in the past. But really, we want to now we have an option for you guys, and just want to introduce that option. If anybody, you guys, I know most of you guys are on the road, but in any case, down the road, if you want to become a mechanic, if that's a career of your choice down the road, or your kids, I think we have an option to offer. I think I'm gonna let Ryan drive through first how Ryan become a mechanic, and how other people can maybe follow his suit, or what is his suggestion for people who want to become a mechanic in 2023, how to go about it. All right.
Yeah, so you actually have a question in regards to that. So
yeah.
So I guess I've had a pretty diverse background as far as where I'm at now. So I grew up southeastern Indiana, farming community. I was farming personally, and a lot of worked for a lot of the people that farm and stuff like that. So, and the people that I come from, we don't pay people to do stuff and fix everything, buy junk and fix it up and try to make it work. So that was kind of my early childhood. In high school, we had a VOTEC program up in Versailles, Indiana. I went to a Southeastern Career Center. So I went to Diesel Tech out there. Well, there's like an introduction program. What's 10th grade? I don't know what sophomore. Yeah, sophomore year.
You're too old for that.
So they have like a introductory program where you go through you do 2 weeks of carpentry, 2 weeks of machining, machine trades, 2 weeks of welding, where you kind of see everything. and obviously I knew I wanted to go to diesel tech anyway. So my junior and senior year, I went to school for diesel tech in high school. So you kind of leave your traditional education and do that half of the day. So during that, I did Skills USA VICA, Vocational Industrial Clubs of America. Went got first in both years. I think I got first in the regionals. Went to state actually the first year, and got fourth place in the state of Indiana out of like 1,700 diesel students. Actually, I have the medal hanging
Right there.
right behind us, in front of us. So.
Can I get it? Can you get
yeah,
it? I can't get it. I'm too short for that.
And dog tags. Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Fourth place, the third loser. So.
Good for you. No, you never told me about that.
Yeah. Anyways. So after that, didn't really know. I actually with that award there, I got a small scholarship to go up to. There's up in Lima, Ohio. I can't even think of the name of the college now, but they had like a diesel. They had a couple different programs up there. Northwestern University. Yeah, something like that. It was Northwestern, but it's in Lima, Ohio. But I ended up not going. I went into the Navy. Went into the CVs, which Civil Engineer Corps in the Navy, as a construction mechanic CM. Which the cool thing about the Navy versus the other services, like in the CVs, anyways, like if you're a construction mechanic, you work on everything. You might work on a chainsaw all the way up to a scraper, Terex or cat scraper, excavator, whatever. You work on everything. Like nowhere, a lot of the other branches, like we had some when I went to my A school out in Port Hueneme, California. We had some Air Force students there. And like they work on like this fire truck, and that's their MOS. That's all they work on. Where, like I said, one cool thing about the Navy was that we worked on everything, so you get a lot of good experience. And I went to several other. I went to my A school, which is your basic mechanic school, and then I went to a couple C schools, like more advanced type of stuff, power generation, then maintenance, management, and all that stuff. Came in as a E1, graduated first in my A school class, got promoted E4, picked up E5 6 months later, picked up E6 3 years later, then that was pretty well. I passed the Chiefs exam twice, and then but after everything kind of slowed down around the 2011, 2012, and so I figured it was time to get out, and got out, worked for Ohio Cat up here in Broadview Heights, Cleveland. As soon as I got out, I worked at the power systems side, worked on the engines, basically this, 3500 series, 3600 series, 3400, all the bigger power generation engines, so, yeah, stuff that powers backup generators for hospitals and plants and all that stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I jumped around several. I didn't really like it there. Went and worked for a railroad contractor, and I kind of got into this trend where it was like 6 months to a year. And then thought maybe I was tired of tired of actually working on stuff. I already had a Class A CDL. That's when I got into the whole trucking thing, and we did that for about 5 or 6 years. And obviously, we just talked about being on the road. So obviously, I had to figure out some other way to make a living. So I figured I would go back to turning. I mean, we'd done a lot of YouTube videos, and it seemed like the maintenance one started taking off, and I was like, well, might as well buy a service truck and get back to. I think I kind of, after being an owner operator, I think what my problem was, it wasn't actually not liking doing something. It was actually I didn't like working for other people or dealing with all that, politics and. I'm not like a one-way type, like my way or the highway type of person when we're doing stuff. I mean, if I'm working with somebody and they got a better idea, then we'll take it on board and we'll do whatever is the best way to do something. But, I kind of like doing things, our way, I guess. So
his way. He liked to do things his way.
No, not necessarily.
Well, listen to me. I know things.
But anyways, so we went from a mobile service shop, and then we got to the point where everybody was like coming to us, so it was like we need to get a brick and mortar shop where people can actually come to us before my zoning officer comes down on me, starts sending me certified letters and everything else, because where was that before was not zoned for 5 trucks sitting in the driveway and stuff like that. So
yeah, but thank you for everybody who supported us earlier, you know, when
so
we have our company.
so long story or short story long or whatever, that's kind of our whole circle, I guess, to where we're at from where we started, you know, back 25 years ago to now. So
Yeah, and so I what's the most important things about, you know, people wanted to become mechanic?
so I mean, if you're looking, it really, I guess, age or where you're at in your current state or career has a lot to do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's several different. I mean, a lot to do with your options and choices out there. I mean, obviously, if you're somebody that's watching that's in high school, I mean, you'd want to, you know, if you got a VOTEC school and they have those programs, I mean, definitely, I mean, they're free. I mean, I know when I went in high school, it's free, so you don't have to pay nothing, and actually got a lot of good. I mean, I know back when I went, you know, this is back in the late '90s, early 2000s. You know, we had a lot of good teachers out there that, you know, actually cared and you know, good people. I mean, a lot of knowledge, I guess, back from, you know, I mean, probably people that were in the business in the 70s, 80s. So yeah, I mean, a lot of good knowledge out there. I mean, stuff that isn't probably taught today. And we got taught a lot of stuff that isn't book stuff. I mean, actual practical, hands-on knowledge. So yeah, I mean, if you're younger, still in high school or around that age, I mean, if you have those VOTEC programs, that's a great place to start. Also, younger age, again, military. For me, military was a great place because you're not really you're. I don't know, anybody that's been in the military will probably understand what I'm talking about, but it's not like I got a customer here that's paying me to do this job, and like if I screw it up, they're going to be, you know, it's really hard. I don't know how to explain this without making it sound bad, but you can tear stuff up and experiment with stuff, and you don't have a customer that's mad at you. You might have, you know, like a chief or somebody else or whatever branch you're in that comes down on you, but it's not like you're working on somebody's truck and, you know, now it's broke down and they're calling me every 3 hours, wondering where their truck's at and all that stuff. So it's
No wonder why military expense going up every day.
yeah. So I mean, it's a good test bed, I guess, to hone your techniques. So
Yeah. All right. From disjoint things, right?
yeah. So and also, I mean, you get a lot of good extra. I mean, I had a lot of other opportunities to get a lot of extra schools and C schools and stuff like that to, you know, have a pretty strong background in power generation, 3-phase power generation, and all that stuff. So I do most of all my own stuff in the building here myself. So and probably without that experience, I wouldn't have had that. So
Yeah.
So other than that, I guess kind of moving on to the older, you know, people, you
Like
know, maybe
us.
mid-20s, 30s, 40s, if you're looking to kind of get into the business. I mean, there's some certification programs, actually some online programs. I mean, because really, I mean, I guess what it all comes down to ultimately is that you got to have some type of mechanical inclination to do this job. I see it in the military where you got a recruiter that says, "Oh, you can go be a mechanic," and some of these people, like you're it's one of these things you're kind of born with, but it can be built upon. But if you don't have that basic mechanical comprehension, like I said, I've seen it time and time again in the military where the recruiters put people into this field, and they never. I mean, you understand it or you don't understand it. So they ended up getting put like in the tool room or supply, and basically they're E3s or E4s, and then get kicked out for higher tenure or whatever because they don't have that basic, you know, base foundation, I guess, to build upon, you know, to really excel, I guess. So that's the first thing is really, okay, is this for me or not for me? Because if you don't really have that comprehension to begin with, you're probably just wasting your time, you know, because it's if you don't understand how basic stuff works, it's hard to build upon that and be successful in the field, I think. So anyways, moving back to kind of the people mid-20s, 30s, 40s, if you're looking to get into the field, I mean, you got to kind of get your foot in the door somewhere. A lot of people with like no certifications, no certificates or anything like that, they're most likely not going to bring you in. If they do bring you in, it's going to be not very good pay, I would assume. I mean, even being a seasoned tech and mechanic, the pay working for other companies is unfortunately not very good. When I worked for Ohio Cat, they started me at like $18 an hour. I mean, there was some benefit, you know, you got your health care, but you had to pay for everything. So it wasn't like it was all free. 401k, little stuff like that, and a couple, you know, paid a little bit of paid vacation. The most I ever made as a mechanic, I worked for a Manitowoc crane dealer up in Bloomington, Minnesota, Hayden Murphy Equipment. And I started out there like at 27 an hour, and I finished like just under 30 an hour when I left there. So that was the most I ever made. But most places around here in Northern Ohio, yeah, top shop is probably 30. Like if you've been there for a while, I mean, I'm talking like 15, 20 years, top is, you know, 30, maybe 35 if you're lucky. I mean, a lot of places are maybe only 25 to 28. So entry levels, I mean, 17, 22 maybe. So it's not like you're making $50, $60 an hour or something like that. I mean, I actually made more money as an owner operator than I did as a mechanic. So, and could pick, you know, had more freedom and could do what I wanted. But anyways, so I keep getting sidetracked here with what we started to say, certificate. So you need to find a way to get your foot in the door, basically. So that's a way of getting some type of certification program or some type of diploma or something that at least gives you a little bit of book knowledge, and then you can go in. And then after that, I think you know, your hands-on experience is the biggest thing, because I don't know, and you gotta, I mean, a lot of this stuff you gotta have the comprehension to be able to read a manual or any type of, you know, stepped out procedure and be able to apply that into a hands-on situation. And a lot of people kind of struggle with that. So that's something else that, you know, if you're considering getting into the trade, you really need to have that ability to be able to take that information that's, you know, on a computer or written in a book or whatever, and be able to apply that to actually what you're working on step by step. Because a lot of the stuff, I mean, we've done, you know, you know, rebuilds, transmission, all this stuff, and a lot of stuff, it's tedious. It is step by step measurements, all that stuff. I mean, and if one step is left out, I mean, you can blow a $30,000 engine. So,
yeah. I hate reading manuals. Yeah. I hate that.
So I don't know.
Yeah. So, so you remember the program you wanna?
Yeah. So there is an online program out there. I believe it's called Preppy.
Yeah.
So it's a training organization that offers a lot of training programs out there. What they're offering is an online program, self-paced, pretty reasonably priced. I think at the time that they were talking to us was like right around 2,600 within the laptop as well, I believe.
Yeah, I can share the screen. See if yeah, I'll just share a little bit. Oh, that's not a nice one. Here, how about this? Yeah, that's that screen. So the good thing about this company is that, you know, they can offer like a diploma from a very famous
Auburn university. So.
And also they teach you how to get the certification quickly, and they have online courses. Basically, you're on your own pace, and also the best part is they have the internship. Yeah, with shops everywhere.
With shops. Yeah, so, and that's the important part, is being able to get in somewhere and actually, you know, apply that book knowledge.
Yeah. So so it's not that expensive compared to a traditional full-time.
Going to a school and having $100,000 in student loans, and then working at Starbucks. So.
Yep. Exactly. So I'm gonna stop sharing here. So we will put a link in the description, or actually I'm gonna put a link in the description. If you guys anybody interested, you can check them out. It's great program.
Yeah, and it's a good base, you know, to kind of at least get something for your resume. Say I went through this, and then really after that, it's that hands-on experience that this stuff, I mean, really, it's all in the field where I've learned everything. It's trial and error. You know, and actually I learned by seeing and doing stuff myself. So, but like I said, you have to have these days, and that's what a lot of the other tech schools out there, like I think there's Ohio Technical School, I believe is what it's called, up in Cleveland. When I worked at CAT, we had a lot of guys that came from there, and you know, they got all these ASE certs and everything else, but a lot of them didn't even know how to change oil. I mean, for the most part. So, unfortunately, but that's unfortunately with a lot of the bigger schools is that they just teach they want to get you, like with any college, basically any type of whatever major you're going through, it's like just get you through to pass the test and that's it, without really expanding upon that. So I mean, and that's what I went in for interviews before. I went into an interview with Kimball, but I know at the end of it I didn't want to work on garbage trucks because that's pretty nasty. But other than that, the guy he brought me in and asked me, okay, if you got a problem, you know, with what was the question he asked me? It had to do with hydraulics and versus pressure and flow. And if you have a flow problem, I can't remember exactly how it was put, but I mean, I guess I'll have got a pressure problem, so we replace, or a flow problem or something. I can't remember exactly what it was, but whatever it was, I answered the question right. And the guy really wanted to hire me, and they offered me what I wanted. And he started talking about they get these kids that come in, they got all these ASCs, but they don't know anything. So basically they teach these tests to get you to pass, and it looks good on their numbers. And then they don't know anything when they come out. So, but that comes back with experience and practical application of what you've hopefully learned. So.
Yeah. Just answer. This is the answer to some people's question. I think they're in our age and they wanted to become a mechanic. I think could be a good program to go. And younger kids, as Ryan said, you know, military can be a great option, or high school free programs. So nowadays, I'll always consider your investment and your going to school as an investment. You know, if you invest a lot, take a big student debt, you will not make a lot of money. It's really not a good investment. Yeah. So that's that. Let's pass that stage of talking about today's topic, and let's talk about some questions here. Yeah. All right. So just clear. Somebody asked you where you go?
I had a scholarship to go there, but I decided I was actually signed up, and that would have been back in 2002, 3. But I ended up deciding to go to the Navy instead. So I didn't. I had a scholarship that would have paid for almost half of it, but decided not to go in the end. So I guess the rest is history.
All right. So let's go back to
so we got to ask if we're near Dayton or Akron. We're in Canton, Ohio, which is just south of Akron on 77. So EPU packages. So the first unit we got finished up technically yesterday. We had to finish some other little subsidiary projects this morning on the truck, but it actually pulled out the driveway here about 10:30 this morning. So everything I think Sophia got the video posted on that.
Yeah, you guys go to our website. Go to YouTube and look at our channel. The latest video is I just posted this morning. After we figure out the pricing. I really like that video. Hopefully you guys really take a look at it.
So we have 3 different options. Excuse me. We have 2 AGM options. We have kind of a more economy AGM. Then we have the North Star AGMs, and then we have the Lightning Volt lithium batteries. So and they kind of go up in price as we go up. So I don't know what the entry level price. What do you have?
Basically $6,100 for the entry level, and we have a $6,800 middle.
Star. Yeah.
And then the $7,700 for the lithium
batteries. So the cool thing about the lithium, the whole system is with the battery box, the AC unit, and everything is probably under 250 pounds. So
yeah.
So that's a big weight savings versus AGMs are pretty heavy. I believe the North Stars, I think she said they had a 4-year warranty on those. I mean, with the lightning bolt lithiums, we have a 3-year warranty on those. So
Yeah, I want to show you guys some cool pictures from our installation. If you haven't watched our videos, so I just posted on my desktop to show you guys. And let's do that. Let me do a presentation.
I'm gonna get a couple more.
Question. Okay. Yeah. Well, you get those. I'll get that ready.
So somebody first escape going on an interview with Kat. Good luck with that next week. Yeah, so you're switching from on-road to equipment. So I kind of went the opposite way. I mean, I always kind of I always worked on heavy equipment, cranes, dozers, excavators, all that stuff. And I always kind of looked down on the truck mechanics, I guess, like in the hierarchy of things. But I got tired of working on heavy equipment. Everything's different. You know, every machine's different. I mean, the basic systems are the same. But like the one thing I like about trucks is, I mean, whether it's a Kenworth, Freightliner, I mean, it's the same concept throughout the whole unit basically. So it's a lot more cookie cutter, I guess you could say. And there's a lot of trucks on the road. So if you have your own business, you never run out of customers.
Yeah, exactly. So showing you guys a few pictures of the installation. It's really nice. Whatever. The biggest thing we did, I think Ryan did compared to other shops who also installed similar units, is that we shortened the high-low.
The AC line, refrigerant lines that go into the inside unit. I cannot send something out that's, you got 6 feet of hose wrapped up and zip tied on the back of the truck. So we actually bought some crimpable unions and a crimping tool to shorten those up and shorten the harness as well. So it's a pretty clean fit and everything, I think, instead of just something wrapped up and zip tied, you know, something else to get ripped off or chafed or whatever. So
yeah. All right, I'll stop sharing here. All right, let's go. What kind of technology should I start with being a mechanic?
I don't know if you can expand on that. I mean, are you talking like technology, like learning technology, or like what type of diagnostics technology? So if you can kind of elaborate on that, would be happy to answer that a little bit further. Disc brakes. I haven't actually worked on a lot of disc brakes. I've done a couple sets of them. The one nice thing about disc brakes is that if you're just replacing the pads, I mean, after you pull the wheels off, there's this little keeper on top. I mean, there's a little I have a special little socket to back the calipers off because it's like splined. I mean, the ones that come with the brake shoe kits, they break. Like if you get off just a little bit, it snaps the socket off. I mean, which is supposed to do. Yeah. I lost my train of thought there. So, anyways.
Hold on. Let's look at this one.
Disc brakes. Sorry.
Disc brakes.
I was trying to read other comments there as I was still thinking.
Looking.
So, disc brakes. They're really quick to service. So, I mean, they've got like a little pin. You back the caliper off and flip this little keeper over and just pull the old ones out and drop the new ones in. I mean, unless you need rotors or something. So, pretty simple process. So, but we don't see a whole lot of them here that we serve. I mean, we have them come through the shop, but we don't service a lot of them. So, they are. We had to put a rotor and a hub assembly on one, and it was well over $1,000, I believe, on the last one we had to do. So, yeah.
What about this one? What is your advice for people that is trying to be a diesel mechanic with all of these changes coming with emissions and electric semi-trucks? I think you thought about that topic, remember?
I mean, we've talked about this, and that's kind of the direction that we're taking our business, is more geared towards the emission stuff. I mean, because the standards are going to get tougher, and I mean, they are getting tougher in the years coming. States are cracking down on the delete stuff as well. So, I mean, I think, better off to try to solve the problems versus just doing a delete and being compliant, so that way you're 48 state legal to go everywhere, as these states do kind of clamp down on that stuff. So my best advice, is, again, we've talked about software. I've actually had a truck earlier this week. We was trying to do an SCR conversion efficiency test, which to clear on a Freightliner, to clear some of the regulatory faults, it has to go through this whole test above 70% conversion efficiency. And for some reason, my Snap-on, it would not, it would get about 800, it would get about 75% of the test. And then my outlet Knox would just keep climbing. And I had no explanation for it. I put my jaw test on it and did the same test, and it took it a lot. It was one of the longest tests I've ever sat through. I think it took an hour and a half, but it was 98% through the whole test. Conversion efficiency. So I don't know why one tool, I don't know if it was sending the wrong programming or something during the test to the truck, but the other one works. So really knowing what, kind of understanding the systems, what the components do, and then, like I said, having multiple softwares is key as well, as we found here. So
yeah.
Yeah. So,
let's go here. It's
okay, go back to this. Is it?
This one.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Is it legal to put a 97 Detroit 12.7 motor in a 2005 Killer T660? No, technically not. It's not. So you can go forward with an engine, but you're not supposed to go backwards. I know people do it all the time. I've had them come in. I've actually had a later model truck, I believe a 2008, that had a 2000 engine in it, and I don't know how whoever did it, how they made everything interfaced with a chassis harness, because they didn't put 3406Es in 2008 trucks. So but it's not, you're not supposed to go backwards. You can go forward. You can put a newer engine in, you can put a 2010 engine in, but technically you're not supposed to go backwards. To make to be short about that.
Yeah. Love your videos, and bro, the honesty. Thank you. Computer skills and technology. We have just trucking. What is legal?
Yeah, there was go back to that about Fitzgerald gliders. Went out of the glider business.
This one.
They were allowed to make so many a year, I believe, how that all went down, and they kind of closed the government to they were allowing so many of those trucks to come out per year, and the feds came out and kind of closed that loophole, and that's why Fitzgerald actually bought a bunch of Peterbilt dealerships and are in the actual new truck business now. So it was kind of a smart way to make a lot of money than to kind of pivot and reinvest it into something else going forward. So so about the EPU, everything's set up and worked. I'm pretty excited about all that. So it's going out on its first run here this week, I guess. I think he said he's going to California.
Go straight to California.
Yeah, so it's a team. So I guess once they get out there, they might have to sit for a couple of days, and it's probably pretty warm out there right now. So I'm hoping we get good feedback on everything, but we'll see what happens and adjust as needed. So.
Yeah, I think we answered all the questions. We are not answering anybody's questions. Let us know. I think.
Yeah, we had a comment up here.
You can click show. There you go. On the screen. Yeah,
YouTube's a great source. I use it a lot as well. So if I'm stuck on something, always Google it, and so it's a good free source of information as well. So
yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm just reading here. So.
Thank you, catch all. Well, thank you everybody staying with us so long. And it's always good to set aside an hour or something from Ryan's hard working day to talk to everybody.
Yeah, I think we pretty about. Okay, what kind of tools should you start with? Yeah, I don't. You never. I have a Snap-on. Excuse me. I have a Snap-on guy that comes every week, and I buy something every week. So it's like you're never
addicted to that.
No, it's not. You always find something else that you need. So I mean, you're never.
The thing is, this is like you going to the grocery store. You're going for the milk, but you ended up have full cart of whatever. This is like Snap-on guys everywhere, every week. I mean, now I guess that's a great business to show up. Their full truck tool even on the ceiling of the truck. I mean, nobody would resist that. I mean, I hate spending money, but that's a problem for people. I mean, Snap-on is really, I mean, they figure things out. They know how to get people like Ryan to purchase stuff. So you guys, learn something. We can make money from the way Snap-on do business.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot. I mean, a lot of people that buy cheaper stuff. One of the reasons I get a lot of flack about buying more expensive tools, but the one thing I like about the Snap-on, it comes here. I don't have to go nowhere. Like if I got something that breaks and I got to go to Harbor Freight or Sears or whatever they're selling Craftsman or these days, it's extra time. So I mean, I might pay double for a ratchet versus Harbor Freight, which might equate to $60 or $80. But I don't have to use an hour of my time, which we charge $115 an hour here. So, and they come to me, fixes it right there, or gives me a new one, and I don't have to go anywhere and deal with anything. I don't have any lost time. So that's my reason, I guess. So,
Right.
and one more. So, yeah, I've got my John Deere's up in the window there. So.
The thing with those tractors, my little one, my 3-year-old, every time stand right on the table looking at
this. There's a Farmall H up in the top corner. So that was my great grandpa's. He had a Farmall H, and that little toy was his. But I've actually got a 59 530 John Deere out in the lot I've had for a few years that we put back together from milk crates in Kansas. So eventually to get it finished for the parade next year. Advertising. So anything else here?
No, I think we got some good comments.
We'll take one more here. Then we're already at quarter after.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're asking about the EPU batteries in the charge in the middle of the night. Will it start the truck up? Can it do it with the manual transmission? That really all depends on the parameters in your truck. So if it's an older truck, then obviously that's something we're not going to be able to program. The newer ones really just depend on how it's set up. I mean, even there are some of the transmissions do have neutral safety switches. I mean, a lot of the newer ones that would have a automatic startup would obviously have to have a manual, a neutral safety switch to make sure that it's not in gear, obviously, and start up and drive through the truck stop in the middle of the night by itself. So yeah, I mean, anything. I mean, just depending on the parameter, how new the truck, what year it is, and if it has those the capability to be programmed to do startup, then yes, that is a possibility. But I mean, we see a lot of the newer automateds that are set up with an auto start. So, but if it's an older truck, like if you've got an older Columbia or something, 2002 or something like that, then obviously it's probably not going to be an option for an automated startup in the middle of the night. So.
How long does it take to charge a battery? Do you know?
These ones, it's like I said, we're in the testing phase as well, so I don't have that answer yet. But hopefully we'll have some feedback very short. I mean, we can reach out to Lightning Volt and see what
how long does it
what they're
take to
thinking.
charge?
So I mean, I mean, I'm pretty confident that if you got an 8-hour driving day, I mean, you should be good. I mean, for a 10 to 13-hour rest period. So
can we take the last one? Absolutely last one. Good questions over here.
Okay, so he's asking which source he's used to keep learning newer stuff about newer engines and diagnostics. A lot of my stuff, I mean, is actually straight from manufacturers. I mean, if I see something new, I mean, I Google it, and if I see like for Eaton, Eaton transmissions or Cummins, I'll look for those tech bulletins and see what's coming out. If there's something new that I haven't seen yet, or like I said, a lot of just online. I mean, with a lot of with jaw test, it does give you a lot of technical data with pictures, photos, and all that. And our Snap-on does have another component that has a lot of technical data on the computer laptop here in the office as well, to where we can look up a lot of newer technical data. But yeah, I mean, pretty much the internet. When I see something new, I mean, it's on my phone or computer, whatever, looking things up and trying to find tech bulletins and see what's out there.
All right. That is it, guys. It's so good to spend the past 45 minutes with everyone here, every single one of you guys. Thank you so much. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and turn on the notification bell. So we have videos every week. It's always good to see you guys every week. So as far as now, we're going to see you guys next Friday. Have a good weekend and stay safe, everybody.
Thanks.
All right,
See y'all later.
bye.